What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Zaynomics Gaming. Today I am discussing the recent news that broke last week regarding the future of Bungie and Destiny 2. This video is my take on the whole situation, from the layoffs to the pushbacks. I'm hoping this video will bring awareness to the situation at hand, as work culture plays a significant role in day-to-day life. Obviously, things were not going as well as we thought. I play this game to escape reality, and it seems that it has been tough on the devs who pour their hearts into this title for me to enjoy some peace and have a good time. Bungie overall is a corporation, and I have first-hand experience on how this works, as I've been in this situation before. It definitely sucks for all parties involved. But first, if you are new here, consider subscribing to my channel. If you enjoy this content, it is a free way to support me, and I greatly appreciate it. Check out my Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign review. We did post that video yesterday, and of course we will have some multiplayer action this weekend. Now first, I want to discuss how layoffs work. I work with a company that I will not mention for almost 10 years. I got laid off and it was tough. I have a family to take care of, like most of the population, and I did not know what I was going to do. I was just along for the ride. Well, I chose to be along for the ride. The difference here is that we were notified a year before the layoffs actually occurred. I chose to ride it out for a particular benefit that I was offered, which was the ability for me to go to college, and everybody at the facility was able to take advantage of that. According to reports, employees laid off at Bungie were not notified until the week of, which is heartbreaking to me, and I'm sure it is for so many of you as well. Now, I watched Cross's video regarding the layoffs. Shout out to him and his whole squad, by the way. I'm making amazing content as always, and I will leave a link down below to his channel. In his video, he touched on severance pay and benefits from Cobra. Although every layoff is handled differently, our severance was based on the years of employment times your weekly earnings with a minimum rate. The minimum rate is put in place for employees that have not been there for a long time. Our minimum rate was $8,000. We know some veterans at Bungie were let go. If you worked with our company for 22 years, just for example, and you made $1,000 a week, for example, you would get $22,000 in severance pay. Now, it's important to note that I am on the East Coast and Bungie is located on the West Coast, and these dollar amounts and values that I give you are just, for example, purposes. In short, severance is 1 week's pay for every year of service, and of course the pay is dependent on, your actual weekly salary. Now, as far as the Cobra health insurance goes, it's very, very expensive, and this varies. As with my layoff, the company paid half, and we had to pay half for coverage. Not sure if that's a deal for those who lost their jobs at Bungie or not, but I noticed in one of the reports that they were saying that they were going to get this health insurance for 3 months. That is true to an extent. Like I said, with our company, they paid half, and then I also had to pay half. So you're actually dipping into that severance pay so you can have health insurance. Now, it's an unfortunate series of events. Gaming developers have been getting axed all year with multiple different studios. The main issue I have is how Bungie handled the whole situation. When we covered the final shape reveal, nobody in that live stream looked upset or distant or confused or at the possibility of maybe getting laid off, revenue issues, or anything like that. Everyone, from my eyes at least, looked thrilled and positive for what's to come. These layoffs occurred due to revenue. The money Bungie was bringing in was reportedly running 45% below projections for the year. This caused an 8% cut in workforce and delay of the final shape in Bungie's upcoming marathon title to 2025. Now, the final shape, although not confirmed by Bungie, is reportedly delayed until June 2024. It was reported that executives would not take a pay cut to avoid layoffs, but the CEO of Bungie, Pete Parsons, reported roughly 2 hours ago that they explored all other options before choosing to lay off 100 workers, including pay reductions for executives. Now, Pete Parsons said that he did take a annual pay cut, which was in that article. Now, all of these articles, there will be links in the description below of my video if you would like to read them for yourself. Now, since the layoffs, Bungie has come out and said basically nothing. They said something, but they said nothing. It went in one ear and out the other. That's pretty much what I'm meaning. Essentially, they basically stated that they were going to put their best foot forward to rebuild the trust with the community, and that's pretty much it. They said they're going to make Final Shape the banger, and they believe that Forsaken, the Witch Queen, and the Taken King were like the models that they were trying to go for the final shape. I do not believe we will hear from Bungie until after Thanksgiving, and TWABs altogether are more than likely dead. As with the holidays coming and the trust is now gone, our community manager is gone as well. Destiny may be heading to the end. The community is certainly in a disarray right now because we love the game, but at the same time, I kind of feel bad for playing the game due to all the people being laid off. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, and it is corporate America. Layoffs happen all the time within a bunch of different companies, but the way that Bungie has handled it and how it has broke in the news is really what's disappointing for me. Now, for me, I think it is selfish for a corporation to not stand toe-to-toe with your workforce in the midst of the path that they are on. Most companies, even the company that I'm with now, you have some form of monthly meeting to where you discuss productivity, production rates, revenue, where you're at as far as like yearly plans, what you plan on doing. And I'm sure Bungie should have something like that. I mean, it makes sense. That way everybody can stay organized and everybody's up to date on what they plan on doing. In my instance, we were notified a year in advance. Everything from this point makes sense. From Sony's acquisition of Bungie, from the outside looking in, and I don't know, I'm just saying, it's speculation. I believe Sony looked at the projections, looked over Bungie's shoulder and said, hey, I don't know what you're going to do, but you need to do something. And Bungie decided to theoretically let these people go to save some money. Now, just like I said, Pete Parsons did come out a couple hours ago and say that, hey, he gave up his annual bonus, but it wasn't enough to save the 8% of the workforce. Now, unfortunately, this brings me to my conclusion for this video. In my opinion, we are heading to our last days with Destiny. I've had such great memories playing this game, met a lot of cool people. I mean, we've been playing it, for the past 10 years, and I'm definitely going to play the final shape. I got to see it through, just like many of the other creators have said. I'm sure you've seen their videos as well. They've all stated, hey, we're going to finish it. If you're one of those people that wants to get a refund or something like that, that's your prerogative. I think it is terrible that Bungie laid off these employees like this. They deserve a proper notice with a reasonable timeline if this is what is needed to be done. The main problem we have here is the game itself. It lacks proper introduction. Any new player will be completely lost, confused, and bored. Here I have a son that's getting into his preteens. He would be completely confused and lost with this game right now. In the Crucible, they will struggle against any veteran player and just quit just because they don't know how to play the game. They don't have any of the weapons that other people have. The story itself is lackluster. If you really think about all the DLCs and with the poor monetization that they have, every little DLC that you have to buy just to get up to date is just obnoxious to me. Nothing is condensed, everything is just sporadically spread out, and it will confuse any new individual that tries to play Destiny. Have you all sat one of your best friends down to play Destiny 2 in its current state for the very first time? Maybe we should do something like this. Destiny 3 needed to happen with the final shape. That's the problem. We have too much of just stuff just everywhere. It confuses everybody. There's no proper introduction into the story. Nobody knows what's going on. And if you haven't started from the beginning, you're not going to know what's going on. Currently, right now, in Destiny 2, you cannot play the original campaign missions. You can't play them. They're just not there anymore. Destiny 3 needed to happen with the final shape for any hopes of this game or franchise living on past this point. And now with all the issues that arose last week with the layoffs, and I don't want to make this video about ranting, but Bungie has a revenue problem because they have a player engagement / retention problem. We play this game day in and day out, but how are they attracting new players? How are they implementing player retention, especially when there is a solid year for gamers? We had some fantastic releases this year. Other companies are driving innovation and new ideas, but Bungie is not. And I'm sorry to say it, but they're not. Now, my next question would be, is it a dev problem or are the executives mismanaging this entire company? Based off of certain tweets from the weekend and the week of the layoffs, I would bet money that it's more so with the higher ups. It's a lot of money involved, and I just think we've been on the same boat for the past 10 years and we have not gotten to anything new. We just haven't. If you look at certain other games, they're trying to do new stuff, new ideas, we're doing the same thing pretty much every season. And it doesn't seem like we are, because we're going to like new areas or new links. But for the past 3 or 4 years, our seasonal activity has been basically us inserting a orb or throwing a orb at something. Just think about it. Get real deep with it and really think about what we've been playing. We've been chasing loot for all these years. One thing I know for sure, this game is difficult for new players. Monetization is a mess. In-game features that we were promised are still not in the game, and the layoffs were handled unprofessionally. You know, I can get past not getting certain features that we were promised, like the in-game LFG, but when you start messing with people's lives and not being transparent and really talking with your workforce, now the trust is broken between us as a consumer, you know, the community. We play the game, we're the ones that play it. Now I feel bad for even playing the game, just because it was just handled unprofessionally, you know. And I know there's some people out there, you know, they get on Twitter and they say, hey, well, it's corporate America, people get laid off every day. I hear you, I hear what you're saying, but I don't hear you, because the way that this was handled was completely incorrect. It was uncalled for, especially around the holiday season. You do it at the end of the month so they can't get any more benefits. That's terrible. That's a terrible way to do business, and it almost makes me not even want to play this game. And I didn't play Destiny at all last week. Now I'm sitting here moving on to new games. I got Call of Duty. You know, check that video out if you want to. I reviewed the campaign. It's just tough. It's really tough. You know, if you were one of those individuals that were laid off by Bungie and you are looking for work, I don't work in the gaming industry, but if you need a reference, please leave me a comment, DM me, and I'll try to do the best I can for you. Now, if you enjoyed the video today, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It is a free way to support me, and I greatly appreciate it. A Modern Warfare 3 campaign review is out. Feel free to check that out. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.